big snowstorms like this can be a test, right? Test to the plow crews, test to the utility crews.
Test to schools.
Test of schools, tests of parents' patients stuck at home with kids, tests of whether Denver mayors can competently handle snowstorms or whether they'll fall on their face and get voted out of office like Bill McNichols. Only mayor to not get reelected in 50 years, and it's because he botched a snowstorm. No pressure, Mayor Mike Johnston, but how are things going in your first one?
Thank you, Kyle. Yes, don't be Bill McNichols is the guiding principle. We actually feel great about how it's going right now. We have more than 50 heavy plows who've been out. We've already done more than now about 2 full passes of all of the major roads. Think of the arterials, the collectors, the Broadways, Hamptons, those kind of places. We have more than about 36 residential plows out. They've done a full pass now of every single residential street. We have 12-hour shifts, so we had them 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have another 3 p.m. shift at 3 a.m., and then we're going to go through the night again tomorrow into Friday and do another pass of residential streets just to make sure we're extra safe to avoid what we had in that 22 storm, as you remember, where we had those residential streets that got full of ice and ruts and couldn't get those undone. And so we're going to make sure and stay ahead of that by keeping out another full residential crew tonight. So I was just out on a plow with one of our guys the last hour, and the streets are looking remarkably clean, and so we're feeling very optimistic.
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying that you should give meteorologist Chris Bianchi a key to the city, but it sure helps with these storm responses when the storm predictions are pretty dead on. And this storm is really behaving like we thought it would. I'm sure that makes it easier for your teams.
It does. I am indebted to Chris and thank him. But yes, I think what we found was, a little slow yesterday afternoon, but then once it came in last night, it came in heavy. As we found, pretty heavy shoveling on our sidewalks this morning, as I'm sure everyone else experienced. It's lightened up a bit now, but we expect to see it through again tomorrow morning. And even though it's lightened up, we don't want to let up. So we're going to stay at it aggressively with our full kind of Tier 4 response to make sure there's no risks.
For anyone that's been here a long time, we do care about this. It matters. It's not only just being selfish saying, I got to go somewhere. You have a lot of people to worry about. I mean, you have people with little kids, you have older people, ambulances that need to get down side streets. I mean, there's a lot to think about when you're the mayor.
There are, and that's exactly what you said. It's for some people it's convenience, for other people it's necessity. And so to make sure that you can get out of your house onto your side street and onto a main street means if you have to get to the grocery store, or you got to get to the hospital, or you got to get to a loved one. We think those are all really important, and so we've taken it incredibly seriously. I was in Snow Command this morning, which is our central control hub at Department of Transportation Infrastructure, where we can track almost every intersection in the city and see if there are any challenges or issues. And so we are watching very closely, but right now it all looks very good.
Denver city offices are closed today, as are Denver Public Schools. Denver Public Schools is called out for tomorrow, Mayor. Do you expect that city offices will be back open tomorrow? What do you think?
We're looking at that this afternoon. It obviously is a big influence on us when the school district decides to close. We know that means a lot of city employees who have kids at home will be harder for them to get in person. Our folks are all working remotely today, and then essential personnel are still in person. And so we'll look at that for tomorrow option, depending on how the snow progresses. But we know once the schools close, we have a lot of folks for whom it's harder to get to work in person, and fewer people that come to the city for services in person. So we'll see how it progresses tonight, but we will certainly keep open the option of having city offices closed tomorrow in person, but working remote.
How about the shelters that you opened up and the warming centers? Have you had any update on the numbers? Have people been able to get there and find shelter?
Yeah, we do have 2 warming shelters that have been opened. We had one at the Glen Rec Center, we've also had another overflow over here at one of our hotel sites. And I'd say the utilization has been pretty modest. We're at about 180 people, and so sometimes on a cold weather shelter we'll have 250 or 300. So they're open. We're welcoming people, and they're still available tonight, of course. And so that's been successful, but we haven't seen overwhelming demand there. I think in part because we got a lot of folks off the streets before we got to this moment. We've also had actually pretty low 311 calls today, lower than normal, and so we don't have a lot of folks reaching out in distress who can't get access to services. We think that's a good sign that the streets are passable also.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, last question for you. You've lived in the city a long time, experienced lots of snowstorms here. What is one thing that surprised you or that you had no idea about in terms of the way the city operates in a snowstorm that you got to see from the inside out this time?
I think it was in part actually the depth of the technology we have now, which is our ability to both know exactly where every single one of our snowplows is at every moment. You can check and know whether or not a snowplow has come to your street, if it's close to your street now. We have cameras on the top of these trucks, so we can get the view from each truck to see what they're seeing, and we can see each intersection. And so I think our ability to real-time track data is far, far more advanced than I had thought before. Snow Command is a pretty exciting place to be. So I think that was my big learning for the day, and the team at Dottie has done a really wonderful job.
It's cool.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, appreciate your time on your first snowstorm, your first term.
Thanks for
your
having
time.
me.
All right, stay warm, stay safe.